Greetings, Mayhemers! It is Mad Mike here for the Thursday Night War. Now I'm going to keep this short and sweet because Riz wasn't able to join me tonight, and Jen Carlins had to leave to go pick up Matt Carlins and possibly read more fan fiction about Dean Ambrose. But let's get into the Thursday Night War quickly. NXT, my one word for tonight's NXT would have to be interesting. Interesting. We had a fun uh, a match with Charlotte and Summer Rae for the women's championship, which was a very good match. A lot of fun to watch. Definitely the highlight of the show, easily, far and away. Definitely a highlight. We had an Ascension tag team match, and they beat up a couple jobbers again. It's weird seeing that NXT probably has the best tag division in WWE right now, but none of their tag teams seems to actually face the champions, which is odd. I still don't know how that works, but a great tag match we got tonight was the Vaudevillains, whom I love, obviously, versus Kalisto and his new partner, Sin Cara. That's who I was hoping it was, and that's who it was, and damn fine match. Damn fine match. Everyone should go and take a look at that match. I hope these two become a regular fixture on NXT because they were a lot of fun to watch. The main event was interesting. We had but before I get to the main event, another one of the best parts of the show, Tyler Breeze. Tyler Breeze. I'm trying to keep from getting verklempt because he wrestled with a very serious hand modeling injury, and he wrestled brilliantly. He squashed Mojo Rawley in about 10 seconds, which was perfect. It's absolutely perfect. I love that Mojo Rawley has become, I don't know, I guess I can't even think of like the Gilbert of NXT, which is odd because he doesn't get jobbed, he stays jobbed. And the main event, we had Adrian Neville. We took a break from the Tyson Kidd show. We took a little break from it this week, which was nice because as much as I like what they're doing with Tyson Kidd, I think you need a little bit of a break from it. And we had Adrian Neville versus someone I didn't expect, Rusev, of all people. I didn't know how this was going to end because they're obviously pushing Rusev a lot, and they're obviously still pushing Adrian Neville a lot. And it was a fun match. Rusev got in some good spots, so did Neville. But as Neville was looking to maybe defeat Rusev, which is kind of unheard of if you really watch WWE programming now, Tyler Breeze interfered, causing a DQ, and then Rusev slapped on the accolade. And Lana Lana'd, and she looked amazing. So that was NXT this week. As far as Impact goes, I'll do since there's not two people here to bounce ideas off of, I'll do two things I liked, two things I didn't, and two things I'd change. Two things I didn't like on Impact. I didn't like the whole Bram and Magnus versus Gunner and Mr. Anderson. I don't care about any of these four characters. Have Abyss come back, sure, whatever. Sam Shaw is backstage kind of not being creepy. I don't care about any of them. The tag match was fine, I guess, if you need something to fill, but why not have Sam Shaw wrestle since he's the gimmick? Or why not have Abyss be Anderson's tag team partner? Or none of it made sense. The second thing I didn't really like that much was the inclusion of King Mo. I get Dixie Carter wants to build a stable. She wants to have people protect her. I understand that. That's fine. But especially with what happened at the end of the show, you don't need King Mo. And it's very clear the only reason you have King Mo on there is because Spike wants you to promote a Bellator event that Bobby Lashley is also on. Go figure. All right, so two things I did like. The first thing was the Great Muta segment. So good. growing up, I was never a big WCW guy. I just wasn't. I didn't have TBS when I was a kid, so I could never watch the NWA. I can never watch early WCW. The only time I was really exposed to it was when Nitro started. Uh, but that being said, Muda coming back and wrestling on Impact is a big deal. I was very excited about it. I didn't know who he was going to wrestle because it looked like a lot of the people that had been on TV were already used. But he had a quick 2-minute match with Robbie E. We got to see the Green Mist. You got to see a leg whip. You got to see a Shining Wizard. Bada bing, bada boom. That was the whole match. And I thought that was going to be it for Muda. But no, then James Storm came out, and he spit beer in Muda's face. And that was pretty cool, because, green mist, beer mist, yada, yada, yada. But then Sonata came out to run off James Storm, and it looked very similar to Seth Rollins attacking the Shield with a chair. I'll let it slide, though, because it's a wrestling staple to have someone looking out onto the entrance ramp and then get hit from behind. But Sonata turning on the Great Muta and then spitting red mist in the face of a Wrestle 1 guy. I didn't catch his name. That was great. That was great. I figured Sonata might turn, but actually, the execution was really, really well done. I enjoyed it a whole hell of a lot. Well done, TNA. Well done. The other thing I enjoyed on TNA was I'll call it the main event. I'll call the main event. You had a 6-man New York City street fight with EC3, Spud, who looked amazing, by the way. His bow tie, you couldn't even see the strap. It looked like it was growing out of his neck. It was fantastic. But EC3, Spud, and Rhino versus the Dudleys and Tommy Dreamer. Now, excuse me. It was a fun match, very ECW oriented, lots of high spots. For some reason, they still feel the need to grate EC3's chest, and actually, I sent out a tweet earlier that doesn't he know that marble doesn't grate, and EC3 favored it. So, thank you, EC3. But at the end of the match, you had 2 guys in black sweatshirts come out to the aid of Dixieland. And one of them I didn't recognize, even though I knew who it was, because he had grown a massive beard. And I'm assuming the beard is not his fault. I'm just guessing. And the second guy that interfered, it's kind of weird when you see things like this happen, where you see guys who have never been TNA before but have clearly been in other companies, regardless of how big they were in those companies. You have to refer to them by the WWE name for them. You have to. It's unfortunate, but you do, because otherwise, like when Mike Knox came out, they called him Nux. No one knew who the fuck Nux was, but they knew who Mike Knox was. But that brings me to Snitsky and Ezekiel Jackson, of all people, coming to the aid of Ethan Carter. And Ethan Carter is still undefeated, a bull. Hardcore American icon. Anyway, so yeah, Dixie has more people for her stable, which I guess she brought them in because realizing bringing King Mo in when he can't actually wrestle is probably not the best thing to do. But yeah, that was it was fine. I mean, Zeke still looked good. Zeke still looked very good. Snitsky can grow a hell of a beard. He can. He looked rested. And I just realized that Dixieland now has 2 last ECW champions in Rhino and Big Zeke. Okay, so moving on to 2 things I would change from this week's Impact. One being Austin Aries. Austin Aries, brother. He exercised option C, and next week we're going to get Aries versus Lashley for the TNA title. Whoop-de-doo, Basil. I don't mind option C. I remember when they first started it, I was in favor of option C because I stupidly thought it would promote the X Division. However, when your X Division champion has held the belt for, about 2 weeks, I don't think the option C thing should apply. Because option C, as Austin Aries stated, should be to promote the X Division. It shouldn't be used as a cheap ploy for someone to ask for an X Division title shot 2 weeks before Destination X and win it. It should be someone who's had a lengthy reign like Austin Aries did, which is why it worked so well the first time. And even Chris Sabin had a long title reign when he did it. Like, the option C thing when you're champion, when Aries hasn't even held that belt for 2 weeks, is worthless to me. And I hope he loses because Lashley as a heel champion has been fine. I think he's going to lose, personally. The other thing I would change, I'm trying to decide if I want to change something about the knockouts or if I want to change something about the Hardys. I think I'm going to go with the Hardys because, God, I really don't want to see the Hardys wrestle again. I really don't. I mean, at least not in TNA. If they came back to WWE and wanted to do a farewell run, God bless them. Hardys versus the Wyatts, that'd be great. The Hardys versus the Usos, yes, give me all of that. The Hardys versus the Wolves, I don't give a shit. I know I'm going to probably get a lot of hatred for bad-mouthing Kiki and Choppy. I don't like Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards. I don't. I mean, they haven't really shown me any amazing matches that they've had. They've just shown me kicks and chops and chops and kicks and chops and kicks and kicks and chops and chops and kicks. That's it. That's all they've done. And howls. And whatever. I don't care about the Wolves. I didn't even remember they were TNA Tag Team Champions. Now, if you had the Hardys versus the Bromans, sure, give me that. The Hardys versus the Menagerie versus Nux and Rob Terry, the Freak, whoever that may be. Give me that match. Give anyone but the Wolves. Hell, give me the Hardys versus MVP and Lashley, MVP and Kenny King. Just something. Give me the Hardys versus Bram and Magnus. I just said I don't like them before. I would prefer them fighting the Hardys because I think that would be an actual interesting contest. The Hardys versus the Wolves, and it's for the titles too. Like, are you really going to give Matt Hardy a TNA championship just because he was able to come to New York for a couple days? You really going to do that? Really, TNA? Because I think you're going to. Also, one last thing before I sign off here. Oh, my word for TNA. I forgot to give my word for TNA. I'll say Misty, because that's what Muda and Sonata did. So, one more thing for TNA, and this is more of a Spike TV thing probably. I complained about it last week, doing it before the show, but now I'm complaining about it again, because as soon as TNA was going off the air, they showed a preview for Destination X by showing clips from the actual matches, including several high spots. Like they showed Jeff Hardy hitting a swanton. Did you just spoil the end of the match? Did you? Because if that swanton that I just saw is the finish for that match, my God, I'm going to be so pissed. Because you literally spoiled something that some people, I don't know who, but some people still think Impact is live. And I will point out one thing, that TNA has stopped using the Impact Live hashtag, which is great because they've been lying to their fans using that the whole time. But yeah, so that has been the Thursday Night War this week. If I had to give a winner, I think I'm going to have to give it to TNA because I really like the Muda spot. I really, really, really enjoyed it. And as much as I enjoyed NXT, some of the matches were just too short this week. Like, you could tell the fans were kind of getting tired because it was the last set of matches in a series of tapings. You can tell they weren't really trying to progress anything yet. Yeah, but I'm gonna give it to TNA because the Manhattan Center still makes it feel fresh, even though they're using wrestlers from 10, 15 years ago. But yeah, so that's a Thursday Night War this week. If you want to hear more of me on the Wrestling Mayhem Show proper, that's Tuesday nights about 9 p.m. on SorgatronMedia.com. Also, if you're into movies, like maybe about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Avenger universe, I talk with Sorg and Malengo on the Rambling Movie Minute about 5 p.m. on SorgatronMedia.com on Tuesdays. And there's also Awesome Cast, which you learn about awesome tech things that will blow your mind hole open. There's Insert Coin to Begin, where we talk about video games. There is the Indie Mayhem Show after the Wrestling Mayhem Show, where Eamon spews his little heart out again about indie wrestling, and it's fantastic. Also, follow us at Mayhem Show. Tweet me. I was live tweeting Impact and NXT tonight, and several people have been responding. Great. Thank you, Sean Burkhead. Thank you. And thank you, Tyler Breeze, for retweeting me because, I mean, he wrestled with a devastating injury. I hope he didn't exasperate that injury by hitting the retweet button. I really hope he didn't. But yeah, that is the Thursday Night War for this week. Peace, bitches.